Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is better than Bad Bunny.
My name is King.
Come on. Yeah. With the bar. There you go. Yeah, I did watch the TPUSA version of the halftime. I didn't even watch a little bit of Bad Bunny. Not even a little bit of Bad Bunny, because I want nothing to do with that. And I got to tell you guys, welcome to the show, by the way. Happy Monday, all that stuff. Last night, this is the first season. This is the first football season that I'm actually glad the season's over. You heard me around Christmas time. I said the worst thing about Christmas and the NFL season is that they both end. And this year, I'm kind of glad that the season is over. I heard enough about Bad Bunny, heard enough about Green Day, and apparently I didn't watch them either. They changed the names of one of their songs, probably American Idiot, and they made it about Trump supporters. Honestly, screw the NFL. I don't need to be told, oh yeah, end racism. I've never been racist in my stinking life. I don't need that in your end zone. Your end zone doesn't mean anything to me. And I'm just like, what? Who cares? Just who cares? And then the Olympics there, got some idiots there who are being, anti-American and all that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because Donald Trump is the president, they're very concerned about the politics that our athletes are representing. Honestly, how about just shut up and ski? Just shut up and ski, shut up and sing, all of that. I do want to play this because it's kind of cool. This is the TPUSA anthem. We know how the song goes. I won't play the entire song. I'm not meaning to disrespect anybody, but you get it. And see, I would rather hear that every day than the traditional marching band version of it. I like my rock and roll, right? And I just thought that sounded good. And I thought the TPUSA halftime show was quite good. It was very rocky, very country and all of that. And then I kind of half watched the Super Bowl. I got a couple friends over. I made a bunch of food. By the way, the indoor smoker. Oh my God. I made some ribs. I made some St. Louis style ribs last night. Rubbed them and then smoked them indoors and then put them a little bit, sauced them a little bit, and they were quite tasty. They were quite tasty. And that little machine, that little smoker is very intuitive. If it tells you that you should do 225 for 4 hours, let it do it. Don't question it. That machine knows. It's just weird. It's just crazy. But anyway, I had some friends over. Kind of half watched the game. It was a terrible game, by the way. It was, boring, one-sided, blah, blah, blah. Two cities represented. Both of them have woke Karen mayors, who have feminized the culture, ruined the cities. Seattle's a piece of crap. Boston's becoming a piece of crap. So I really could have cared about either one of those. And so we flipped back and forth between that and something else. And, I ate some great food. I made one unbelievable smoked chicken pasta Alfredo. It was incredible. So we actually just kind of ate, switched back and forth to the game. By the time the game was over, it's like, who cares? Who even cares? They didn't stick around for the award ceremony. I didn't want to watch that. But I'm kind of glad it's over. This is Pete Hegseth. He introduced the TPUSA halftime show. I thought that was pretty kick butt.
In the War Department, we salute Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
And every American who still believes freedom is worth defending.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you for your courage as an organization, your clarity, and your leadership. And for this halftime show that the War Department is proud to support. This year we mark 250 years since a band of citizens pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor.
Yeah, they did.
For 2.5 centuries, Americans have answered that call on farms and factory floors and shipyards and labs.
Yeah, we should be proud of America. I'm proud of America, and I think we're going to have the proudest year that we've ever had because of a lot of great things that are happening. We got a president of the United States who's doing some unprecedented things, like making America business friendly and causing the economy to excel at light speed. Meanwhile, the Democrat Party is doing nothing but caterwauling and saying when they get into office they're gonna impeach him or they're gonna use the 25th Amendment, even though there's nothing wrong with his brain. It's operating on all cylinders, unlike Joe Biden's. So the Democrat Party, is continuing its death spiral into hell, and we are entering our 250th year. I even got some really cool bumper stickers for my Bronco. These really cool, like 3D 2026 250th anniversary United States bumper stickers. So I ordered those from Amazon. I'm going to put one of those on the back window, and right next to my Rob Carson show on Newsmax bumper sticker, which by the way got vandalized this weekend. Somebody said "F you" in the dust on my truck when I was at Walmart of all places. I was like, I would love to catch somebody doing that. Just love to catch somebody doing that and give them a little what fur. But unfortunately, I missed them. But I'm going to get those bumper stickers on there. We got a lot of unbelievable stuff coming up in the 250th anniversary of our birth. We're working on a trip so you can take to come here to be with me and tour all the landmarks and everything and have a great time and watch my show. We're working on it. I got a thing. I'm working with WCBM Radio, our anchor station in Balmer. June the 11th, we're going to drive to Gettysburg, and we're going to tour the battlefields and where Abe Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address, and we're going to ride in a luxury coach. If you want to go to WCBM.com, you can get tickets there. They're going to sell out, and we might have to add a bus, but it's going to be the time of your life at WCBM.com. So that's coming up on June the 11th. And I'll tell you, like I said, the tickets are going to be going real fast. But it's going to be amazing. We're going to feed you and everything. It's going to be awesome. I think you know what we need here to kind of close out this segment.
Love to win.
Some good news.
Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
You know, I had no idea when Ken, my producer, Redneck MacGyver, came up with that jingle, how popular that jingle would become. Last week, we had a woman call up and say that her father passed away. He was 82 years old, God bless him, Vietnam veteran. And he said that was his favorite thing about the show was that little jingle right there. And the accompanying good news, represented by Scott Bessent, my new favorite cabinet secretary, on the Maria Bartiromo show this weekend about the economy.
Hearing really went into wild commentary there. Did any of the Democrats ask you about economic growth, sir?
Maria, they can't compete on economic growth because the president's plan is working.
And here's the good news.
The economy is delivering for the American people, that we have strong growth, and inflation is, in fact, coming down. For the past 3 months, inflation is 2.1%, close to the Federal Reserve's target.
Yeah.
And a measure called trueflation, which is daily observations, now is below 1%. So inflation down, strong growth. Stocks at a record high, and the lowest crime rate in over 100 years. Democrats don't want to talk about that. They want to hoot and holler.
No, and then the Biden administration was a suck fest. It was terrible. I was at this place on Friday. It's a wonderful New York style pizza joint, and I was waiting for my slice. I got a slice, and this idiot started talking to me, and we were straight into politics because I told him what I do for a living, and he talked about, I haven't noticed any affordability with Donald Trump. I said, really? Did you notice the 9% in the year of 9% inflation with Joe Biden? Well, yeah, but I said, did you know that housing prices doubled during Joe Biden? Yeah, I know. But did you know that interest rates went from 2.9 to 8% during Joe Biden on a mortgage? Yeah, I know. I said, you know why I know that? Why? Because my mortgage rate is 2.9% on the house in Kansas. So there's that. Here's some more good news. CNBC and other networks are finally realizing the crap show that was Joe Biden's presidency.
But the affordability issue is from the 22% increase in prices in inflation under Biden.
Yeah.
There's just full stop right there. That's the affordability issue. And you ought to be able to explain that.
Right. That's right. And look, I think that with the economic team, President Trump and the economic team led by Scott Bessent, you have people who very much understand this.
I know.
And it was they were thrown, what I would say, the worst economy for the average.
It was a crap sandwich without the bread.
American in my adult lifetime, in terms of like you said, the incredible.
It was a bleep show. It made Jimmy Carter's presidency look good. And I was a kid when that presidency happened. And I knew, even though I was a kid, that it totally sucked. And Joe Biden took it to a new level. So the affordability thing is starting to fade away. Did you notice that? This week they were focusing on a Lion King video. We'll get to that here in a few minutes, why it's not racist. Everybody wants to call it racist and everything. I'll explain why it wasn't racist. It is a perception of racism that is dated, by the way. And by the way, not every black person in the video was a primate. Kamala Harris was a turtle, and Hakeem Jeffries was a meerkat, which is an insult to meerkats, by the way. All right, so welcome to the show. Please come inside. Here's the number, 800-922-6680. This, my friends, is the Rob Carson Show.
Greenland is a land that should be our land. That's what I have planned. Plan for Greenland. It is strategic. It's rich in minerals. Greenland was made for you and me. I'd like to own it, but Denmark's wary. Might have to use the military. Security, it would provide it. Greenland was made for you and me. Once we own it, we could rename it. Could call it Trump land or even Don land. It's gonna happen. It will be ours soon. Greenland was made for you and me. Greenland was made for you and me. I am sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee. 'Cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Cole Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That goal, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
There were some people on the MAGA right that took the bait. Well, 133 million people have watched Bad Bunny go out and just completely own the field, the stage, the country, the world. Lady Gaga comes in. This was a pretty extraordinary statement. Ricky Martin, it was 133 million people watching this instead of alternative programming where they had a guy performing who, of course, throughout his career has preached the glories of, and Franklin Graham, I guess, likes this because he said it was a God and country thing, but a guy who has preached the glories of having sex with underage girls and setting up.
Yeah, and you said that Joe Biden's brain was fine, and he was firing all cylinders when his brain was disintegrating, like a piece of bread in a pot of boiling water. There you go. That's Joe Scarborough's take on Bad Bunny. Did you see some of the people in the stands while Bad Bunny was performing? There were very few people standing and dancing because nobody knows the friggin' songs because they weren't in English because English is the language of America, by the way. America. I just call it America. And I know that if Joe Scarborough, he's a frat boy elite, if he hates Kid Rock, it makes me love Kid Rock even more. So there's that. Oh, did you hear last night they played the Black National Anthem? Let me give you a little sample. That's not the Black National Anthem. Well, yeah, it is. It's the Black National. You want to hear the Italian National Anthem in America? Want to hear the Irish National Anthem in America? You want to hear the Chinese National Anthem for Chinese nationalized citizens? Kind of sounds like the same national anthem. Yeah, I like that. There you go. I think this could be the naturalized Indian American citizens anthem right here. Yeah, that's the national anthem. And the Black National Anthem that they performed at the Super Bowl is nothing more than insulting pandering by liberal Karens. Because if you talk to any black veteran, they'll say, that's not my national anthem. The national anthem is the one that has, can you see by the dawn's early light? And this is another reason why I'm glad the NFL season is over. It's just laughable. Oh, did you hear Auntie Maxine? She said she's not going to go to the State of the Union this year.
We head to the State of the Union that's coming up later this month. I know in the past you have chosen not to attend Trump's speeches. Do you plan to be there this time?
Oh, no. I will never honor him with my presence.
Oh, I don't know if you're presence honors anything.
This man doesn't deserve to be the president
because he's a Nazi.
The United States. There's
no, he did. You guys almost tried to kill him and put him in jail and stuff. So he definitely deserves to be the president. He also won both houses of Congress and the Electoral College and the popular vote.
Can say in the State of the Union that will erase his behavior, will erase his race.
I know, shutting down the southern border and making the economy skyrocket.
And I have
the Trump RX making all those prescription medicines real cheap and everything.
No need to sit there and listen to him pretend or lie.
Oh my God, that's such a gift to know that Maxine Waters is not coming to the State of the Union. Thank you so much for that. It'll just make it even better. Did you hear about this too? Wes Moore, who is Wes is Moore. He's the governor of Maryland. He's driving Maryland into the pits of hell, kind of like Abigail Spamberger over here in Virginia. And he also says the KKK chased his great-grandfather out of a church in Carolina, but that wasn't true. It never happened. So that's Wes Moore. But Wes Moore is mad because he's not been invited to the governor's dinner with Donald Trump. And you want to know why he thinks that he wasn't invited? Because Donald Trump is racist, is the deal. Did you ever think that maybe he doesn't want people at the dinner who call him a Nazi? Have you ever thought? And why would you want to dine at a Nazi's house, for God's sake? Honestly, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And why would Donald Trump want this jackweed who wants to eliminate all representation of Republicans in the state of Maryland, just like Abigail Spamberger is trying here in Virginia? Why would you want this guy at your dinner table?
You are pushing hard to redraw Maryland's congressional map to further benefit Democrats. And what that means is eliminating the only Republican-held seat that exists right now. The map as it stands is already really gerrymandered.
It's called a taxation without representation. I think we fought a war over that.
Before you got there. How is it good for democracy to pursue a map that makes your state even less representative?
And here's the proper answer. It doesn't. It really screws over a very large portion of the population. But here's his answer.
Well, actually, the map that the Maryland House passed would actually make 6 of the 8 congressional districts more competitive.
Oh yeah, you're just so full of BS, to be quite honest. And, Donald Trump is a Nazi, a racist, by the way. And I guess Van Jones, he found some of the most ill-informed people of color ever. And he asked them if they'd vote for Donald Trump again. And they said, oh, heck yeah.
If you had to do it all over again,
it's a racist.
Would you vote for Donald Trump again, yes or no?
Yes, I would.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Now, in the future, I am not a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican.
Yeah.
If there were a Democratic candidate who was more aligned for me, then I would vote Democrat.
If you go back in time, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
Yes.
What?
I think I might know the answer on this thing.
He said yes. It's immediately yes. No, I'm sorry.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
1,000% absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Well, that is just crazy. I guess he's maybe, I don't know, those people must be completely ill-informed or something. Or maybe you're just a loser wanting to run for president like Gavin Newsom, but your record is terrible. And all you have is your looks, and you use your nationality as a shield against criticism for your terrible record in the state of Maryland. So it is remarkable to watch this, and more people of color. It began with the walk-away movement, and Facebook got rid of the walk-away movement because 500,000 black people said they're leaving the Democrat Party. So Facebook got rid of Brandon Straka's walk-away movement. Right now, I'm thinking you've got a runaway movement happening. You got a runaway movement happening from the Democrat Party, and people of color know that voter ID is not racist, and they're insulted when you say that black people can't get IDs. And I think a lot of them are insulted that you think they have to have a separate national anthem before football games. Yeah, I really do. I absolutely believe that. I told you, 80-20, 80% of us want the country to do better. 80% of us are patriotic. 80% of us want us to come together. It's the 20% who keep really screwing things up. All right, let's take a break and come back, my friends. This is The Rob Carson Show.
My name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
With talent on loan from God. And have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all 4 corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine.
All audience expectations every day behind this Golden EIB microphone.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP. More like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand, be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
Well, we're working on the Save America Act, which is going to secure up a lot of things, but secure up our voting. I think people would like to do it, and I think Democrats would too.
Yeah.
When you go to voter ID and you ask Democrats, it's polling at 82%.
I know. I told you 80-20. Remember when I said that? 80-20. That's what it's trending. 80% of us have common sense. 80% of us want voter ID, Republican or Democrat. The only people who are fighting it are Democrats who in power, who have been looting our treasury and enriching their friends while fixing nothing for 50 years.
So I'm not talking about Democrat politicians. I'm talking about Democrats. We have to do something about our voting. We need strong borders. We need a fair press, which we don't have.
I know.
And very importantly, we need the strong border, the fair press, and we need fair elections.
And all Democrats got to do is, instead of cheating and gerrymandering and sending out mail-in ballots and getting illegals to vote, and they do, so shut up. I'm not even going to go there. There's no election fraud. Shut up. There is too. There's massive voter fraud around the country, and it's happening, and it's being uncovered all the time. So please, give me a break. Here's what Democrats are going to have to do. You're going to start having to do what the people want instead of just passing spending bills and looting the treasury. That's what you're going to have to do.
We need elections where people aren't able to cheat. And we're going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it done. And by the way, it polls, even with Democrats, they want that.
Yeah, that's true. They do. And it's the voter fraud's happening all over the country. I've got this is kind of interesting. Let me find the audio clip that I had about cheating and voting. Hold on, I'll find it real quick here. But there's a lot of cheating going on. Oh, yeah, here we go. Greg Dolezal. Greg Dolezal is a senator in the state of Georgia. And Democrats are freaking out because Donald Trump sent the FBI, so it's a DHS, I guess, involved in that, to Fulton County to gather the ballots for the 2020 election, because there was a lot of questions about the 2020 election. And this Greg Dolezal decided to do kind of what Nick Shirley did, except for go to places where people are registered to vote. Listen.
All right, y'all, this is 850 Oak Street in Fulton County, and there are 19 people registered to vote at this abandoned house.
Weird.
All right, so we were 1445.
Benny Johnson was in California, like 130 people registered to vote at a porta-potty. Not kidding.
Woodmont Lane, physicaladdress.com.
Yeah.
138 people registered to vote. I mean, you can go right on their website. They don't have that many beds. This is 477 Peachtree Street. There's 70 people registered to vote here. It's a homeless shelter that closed in 2017. 2625 Piedmont, another UPS store.
Wow.
96 registered voters right here in direct violation of Georgia law. Not hard to find for us.
Yeah, all I got to do is ask some questions. But, the Democrat Party's been doing this forever. This is why they're doing the death spiral into hell. This is why they are dying like movie vampires. They're screeching and clawing, and they're saying that black people are not smart enough, or they all have criminal records, so they can't get an ID. And now they're saying that women can't get an ID because they might have changed their name when they got married. It's just so stupid. And here is Greg Dolezal talking about what's going on down there in Fulton County.
Mobile voting unit driving all around Fulton County, collecting ballots from people who would show up at a precinct that maybe wasn't a precinct that would be open on that day, but they use Zuckerberg money to deploy these
Zuckerbucks, only Democrat counties.
Mobile voting units to 80% Democrat precincts, of course. But then if you fast forward to today, you've got all of these illegal voters registered to vote, UPS stores, packed mails, empty lots, abandoned buildings, homeless shelters that have been closed since 2017. It's madness. And so Fulton County is an incompetent county. And the reason
it's not incompetent, it's corrupt as hell.
And I think that the FBI came was because the FBI has been kind of kicking the tires around here for the last couple of weeks. And they went to a judge. They got probable cause using what evidence we don't know, but the judge looked at that and said, there's probable cause to believe.
There's a lot of fraud going on there. Let's go ahead and investigate that.
That a crime has been committed here.
And now the Fulton County Democrats, they want those ballots back. Because they got their paper shredders and their burn piles ready to go.
And so that's the real interesting thing here is what is the crime? How many criminals were there? And what charges may come out of this? That's what we don't know.
Yeah, and Donald Trump wants to investigate whether there was voter fraud in Fulton County, and the Democrats say the reason he's doing that, and you try to help me on this one, is because he wants to rig the 2026 midterms. Oh, my God, it's so funny. Here is Harry Hinton last week. This is the soundbite of the week last week. No Americans think asking for an ID to vote is controversial.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black
Well, that's because they're racist.
Americans favor it. So the bottom
Even the black people are racist.
line is this. Voter ID is not controversial.
I know. But, ask Adam Schiff. Here's Adam Schiff. This is an Evel Knievel leap of logic. It's so utterly ridiculous as to be laughable. And clearly, the reason why Democrats don't want vote integrity is because they cheat. Okay, what are they offering you? What did they offer when Joe Biden was the president? The price of gas doubled. Grocery prices went through the ceiling. Housing prices doubled. Border was wide open. We're screaming, close the dang border. They said, oh, you can't do anything about the border. It took Donald Trump the swipe of a pen, a signature. So what are the Democrats offering? They're not offering anything. What they are offering is massive spending bills that they end up looting and giving to their friends and NGOs. And I've got some stuff coming up today. California, Maine, billions, trillions of dollars gone. Remember when I told you that Joe Biden has been in Washington, D.C. for 50 years, and the same problems the country had 50 years ago are still problems. Nothing gets fixed. And I figured it out. It's because they're stealing the money. That's it. But listen to Adam Schiff. No sense whatsoever.
Photo ID. Because as you know, let's show up. There was a recent poll. There's been a lot of polls on this. Yes. But in one recent Pew poll, 83% of adults support requiring photo ID to vote. 71%.
That's even more than an 80-20 issue.
Of Democrats favor requiring photo IDs.
Yeah.
That's something
they're all racist
that you can support.
Here we go. Listen, this makes no sense.
And if not, why not?
It's still going to be something, Jonathan. It's still going to be something that disenfranchises people that don't have the proper real ID, driver's license ID, that don't have the ID necessary to vote, even though they are citizens. This is another way to simply try to...
Okay, hold on. What is February? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. You got 9 months to get your dang ID. You got 9 months to get your ID, or guess what? You're not going to be able to vote. 9 months. Trust me, you could probably do it in a day. You could do it in a day. If you really, really put yourself... maybe a week. Maybe a week at the worst. But you see, they don't want to require ID because they want to steal elections, because they can't win ideas, because they're intellectually and morally bankrupt.
Now, I understand you don't support things like a passport, for example, but requiring basic ID in order to vote...
This is Dana Bash calling out Hakeem Jeffries. She must be racist or something.
...is really popular. A Pew poll from a few months ago showed 83% of Americans, including 71% of your fellow Democrats, support requiring an ID to vote. Why are they wrong?
I haven't said that they're wrong. We know that states
through your actions you have
are the ones who are empowered to conduct elections, and every state should be allowed to decide the best way.
Yeah, and corrupt Democrat politicians in those states who lead those states should decide whether they want to cheat or not.
To proceed to ensure that there's a free and fair election here in New York.
Well, you don't do that, you see.
There are, in fact, voter identification requirements. The question is that what Republicans are trying to do is to engage in clear and blatant voter suppression.
No, not at all, actually. More people will vote and feel better about their vote because they know their votes won't be stolen. How about that? Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
And now, me as a Democrat, I do not believe that it's unreasonable or to show ID just to vote.
What?
And I remind everybody that less than a year ago in Wisconsin, they added that to the Constitution by a 63%, passing to put that in the Constitution that you have to show ID to vote. And they also elected a very, very liberal justice into their Supreme Court. So it's not a radical idea for regular Americans to show your ID to vote. And it's absolutely, those things are not Jim Crow or anything. Of course, that's part of an awful, awful legacy of our nation for so long ago. But where we are now, trying to find a way forward, just trying to call balls and strikes, seeing what's unreasonable, hopefully we don't have to do, and pay the TSA people and everyone, secure our border, and focus on deporting all of those kinds of criminals wherever they are.
Yeah, there you go. If you had more people like that in the Democrat Party, you wouldn't have to steal elections. It'd be amazing. You'd win on ideas and stuff. This iteration, the leaders of this Democrat Party are toast. They just don't know it yet. You cannot live on this lie. You cannot live on this foundation of sand when your voters, your own voters who send you to D.C., want voter ID, and you're fighting it because you're corrupt and you're robbing us blind. That's what it's all about. Here is, I got to play this. This is pretty cool. So there's this, I was mentioning how more and more people of color are recognizing the Democrat Party is leading them astray, all right? And this was another video on social media where a black woman is commenting about Jim Crow 2.0. Now, the Democrat Party are incredibly racist, and they say things like, ICE is like slave patrols, and everything's racist and all of this. And then, of course, Jim Crow 2.0 is an insult to all of the people who were subjected to the racism of Jim Crow, which was a Democrat policy. And so here is another a black woman, clearly a racist, by the way. I'll just set it. She's probably a racist. She hates black people. But here she is talking about Chuck Schumer's outrageous comment last week.
What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
Not at all.
See, this is where my righteous anger pop up, because I know what he's saying is a lie. Yeah. I live in the South. Yep. I've been living in the South my whole life on the Gulf Coast. I go to vote every single time there's an election. And guess what? I show my ID. I write my signature. They check to make sure.
Well, you must be the exception to the rule, because the Democrat Party doesn't think you're smart enough to get an ID.
I am. I go vote. No problems. Nobody asking me any questions. No. Nobody making me count the jelly beans in the jar. Yeah. And quit lumping us in the people of color category.
Yeah, thank you.
We're black Americans.
There you go.
And we are citizens, and nobody is taking away our right to vote. What they are doing is they're using black people, going back in the past, provoking emotional manipulation, because they know if they say Jim Crow or slavery, black people are going to be like, oh my God.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's right. They're coming against us. This has nothing to do with you, black people.
No.
Wake up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's manipulation. The Democrat Party is a manipulation. I said this years ago, for those of you just tuning into the show. Years ago, what did I say? I mean, literally like 5-6 years ago when we first got syndicated, I said that Democrat Party promises black people the sun, the moon, and the stars. And then when Election Day rolls around, the next day they get up and leave some money on the dresser. But they don't leave money on the dresser anymore. Instead, they just throw out things like slave patrols and racism and Jim Crow and all of this, and they're manipulating the emotions, and people are onto it. People of all colors are on to this. They absolutely are. This is, let's see, Chris Coons being challenged and the host telling the truth about Democrats.
Why? Because there are conspiracy theories why you'd let in 10 million undocumented Democrats.
Yeah, that's the truth.
They're not Democrats.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I'm saying that that's the whole that. And you don't want no ID voting. At the same time, you let in all these illegal...
I have to show an ID every time I vote in Delaware. You see what I'm
saying? You see what I'm saying? Democrats will never...
When I was voting in Kansas, I would go and show my ID, even though they didn't ask me to show me ID, right? And they're so brainwashed that these people acted like garlic to vampires. And I'd whip out my ID. They're like, no, we don't need to see it. Oh, we don't need to see your ID. I said, no, I want you to see who I am. It's important to me, and it's only common sense. This is David Sachs. He said this last week, and I think it's worth repeating.
The Democrats want to thwart mass deportations because illegal immigrants are a vital part of their power base.
Yeah.
And you can see this in the 2030 apportionment forecast, which just came out. Illegal aliens count towards the census, which occurs every decade.
Yes.
And the census determines the apportionment of congressional seats and electoral votes. Yeah. And what you see in these maps is that citizens of blue states have been migrating to red states because those blue states are failing.
Yeah, because they suck.
As a result of that, blue states are expected to lose 9 House seats and electoral votes because of the changing population.
So you got to bring in all sorts of illegals. And here's a little inconvenient truth on CNN about the 2020 census.
One of the big things is it helps decide congressional maps.
Right.
Does this have everything to do with redistricting?
Well, it does. In fact, we know the 2020 census, the errors were almost always to the detriment of red states.
Really?
Blue states like Rhode Island.
Do we know that?
We do know that. The Census Bureau's own audit of its work has proven that. Blue states like Rhode Island were overcounted. Rhode Island then didn't lose a seat. Red states like Alabama were undercounted. Listen, this is just a fact. It wasn't all red blue, but it was disproportionately red blue.
You know, it's going to be an ugly transition, Democrats, but you are going to have to get back to being a party that represents your people and giving them the things that they ask for, like voter ID, like lower taxes and stuff like that. You're going to have to do that eventually instead of just gerrymandering and stealing elections. It's just going to happen. So, you might as well get over with it. It's like tearing a Band-Aid off. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. What an action-packed first hour of the show today. My God. Hi, Round-a-Pony. Let's see. Pat Carr, what's up? My new PA gave me an increased dose of steroids, and it did help. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. You guys are talking about your ailments again today, aren't you? Hello, Valentina. Oh, geez, I can't do this, although I have organic turmeric for cooking. Yikes. Turmeric works. Holy hell. It works. So there you go. Hello, Beck Altenberry. What's going on? Let's look over here at the Facebook page. See who's watching over here. Got a lot of people watching today, even though they didn't watch the Super Bowl. Like I said, the only reason I watched a little bit of the Super Bowl is because I invited people over, and I wanted people to come over. That's all. Just wanted them to come over. Made a hell of a lot of food. Didn't have a lot of people show up, but I made a hell of a lot of food. It was fun. Enjoyed it. Let's see. Facebook's having a little bit of trouble loading here, so I'll just go over to YouTube. To Timothy McNulty. Hello. And America Marcy. And Michael Kroom, you're new. Hello. My name is Michael, and I'm watching in Rocky Point, North Carolina. Michael, welcome to the show, baby. Glad to have you here. Hope you're enjoying the show. There's nothing like it, which is probably good news for a lot of people. Here we go. All right, here we go. Facebook. Who's watching on Facebook? Come on, comments. Load. Hello, Kathy. What's going on? Hello, Sean. Prunny. Good to see you as always. Chris Schwab. Hope you're enjoying the show. If any of you are around June the 11th, we're doing a trip to to Gettysburg from Baltimore. So you might want to get on board. Go to WCBM.com to get tickets before they're all gone. Here we go. 3 minutes.
Well, I mean, for me, the Save Act is not going to pass because of the filibuster, because they would need at least 7 or 8 Democratic votes to pass that. And now remember also, all the Democrats, all we wanted to eliminate the filibuster, except for it was Manchin and Sinema. They wanted to eliminate the filibuster, and now our party loves the filibuster. And then I do think think the filibuster is a good thing, and it does force us to work together overall. I will say this as a Democrat: I do not believe it's radical or extreme to just produce ID to vote.
Oh my God!
Overall,
of course, it's ridiculous to think otherwise. This is how upside down the Democrat Party is. They also believe that boys can become girls and compete with girls in girls sports. Honestly, you're done. The leadership of the Democrat Party is done. You cannot stand on this foundation of sand when your voters are saying they want voter ID, and you're saying no because you just want to keep the gravy train going, keep taking billions of dollars out of our treasury and giving it to NGOs and giving it to corrupt states. We got some unbelievable news coming out of state of California with these daycares. The state of Maine, apparently a whole lot of autism fraud going on there. Makes you wonder if the autism numbers are a little inflated. We talk about this massive increase in autism in the country. And trust me, I do see more autism. But you kind of got to wonder if, because these states have been lying, and people in these states, then they're Somalians by and large, they are lying about their children having autism, that's fluffing the numbers for autism. There you go. Kind of nobody else is talking about that today. But it's happening all over the country. They were inflating autism numbers, parents pretending their children have autism so they can pocket money, and then the autism charity that's bogus takes a lot of that money, puts it in suitcases, and sends it back to Somalia. You see how that works? And then, of course, all the Somalians vote Democrat. That's just the way it is. That's the cabal. That's it. That's what all of this is about. This is why Democrats do not want voter ID. They do not want a proof of citizenship when they vote, because they got a good thing going right now, and it's making themselves and their friends really, 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 really rich without having to do anything for you and me. Yeah. Coming up, the Olympics, political correctness, Lindsey Vaughn and others, and also Doug Burns joins us as well. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show on Monday, the 9th of February. The 9th of February. Valentine's Day just around the corner. Don't really have a Valentine this year. I was supposed to have a date on Saturday. She canceled because of the cold. I know. She canceled because of the cold. She's lived in Florida a number of years and now is back. And there was a wind chill and, it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds and all of that. So she bugged out. We're rescheduled, which is nice. But, I bought some chocolate-covered strawberries. I don't know. I haven't dated since Kurt Cobain was alive. So, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what women want these days. No idea. I know what one woman wanted for a very long time, and apparently I wasn't able to satisfy that. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. I did have a nice weekend though. I went out. Let me see. I just hung out at home pretty much on Saturday. I stayed away from the studio because I just spent too much time here, and then Sunday I just cooked all day and. I had a couple friends over. Only 2 showed up, but I had made enough food for 50. And I made I used my indoor smoker quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. And my new favorite pasta is bucatini, by the way. It's like a hollow spaghetti. So like a drink straw. I just love it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, pasta's made out of the same stuff, right? Generally, if you're going to do flour pasta, it's all the same stuff. It's just the shapes. And everybody's like, oh, I like bow ties. My ex-wife, I knew that was her favorite pasta. Bow tie pasta was her favorite pasta, right? And I like rigatoni, and, I like shells, and I like elbow macaroni, and I like fettuccine. My daughter likes angel hair. It's all the same stuff. But some people I don't like bucatini. Oh, it's the same stuff as bow ties. I know, and I don't like it. Okay, whatever. I won't make it then. Fine. There you go. But bucatini is my favorite pasta. So the Olympics are off and running. I kind of think that the Olympics are a waste of money. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have them. It's ridiculous how they have to build all these new venues every time they do another Olympics. And I think they ought to have them in the same place every year, maybe add some stuff. But honestly, it's all like, hey, look, we got the Olympics. We're going to waste $10 billion on buildings that are never going to be used again. Woo, yay, yay, woo, woo, yay. I don't see the point. But anyway, the Democrats and the liberal media are attempting to whiz on the America. And because Donald Trump is the president of the United States. And here's, I think this is NBC, talking about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance's face showed up on the screen. And they decided to say, he's getting booed like crazy. Well, he wasn't actually. Here you go.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering, some applause.
None of that happened. Here is the actual audio from somebody recording it on social media when J.D. Vance's face appeared on the screen. There you go, right there. Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. But that's your media. And then, of course, CBS on Sunday morning decided to, all of a sudden, it's very important. It wasn't important when Pudding for Brains was the president. But all of a sudden, it matters. The politics, and you're representing the United States, and Donald Trump is the president. You can't be proud to be American because Donald Trump is the president.
As Americans struggle with the heated debate about immigration enforcement tactics.
Well, it's really not a debate, just from like 20% of the population who want to keep illegals here to weigh the census and vote Democrat.
And public safety here at home. Some of the U.S. athletes competing in the Winter Olympics in Milan have acknowledged the complicated feelings they're navigating as they represent their country on the biggest stage in global sports.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard.
Junior, there are a million other world championships you can compete in where you don't represent the United States of America. Why did you try out for the U.S. Olympic team if you are not proud to be from the United States? Honestly, absolutely ridiculous. This guy's name is Hunter Ness. It's Hunter Ness. Donald Trump called him out. Says it's not very hard to root for someone like loser team Hunter Ness, who last week told reporters he has mixed emotion about representing the United States.
There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people.
How about shut up and ski?
People aren't. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S.
I love the USA, and I think I would never want to represent a different country in the Olympics.
Well, there you go.
With that being said,
how about just shut up and ski?
You know, a lot of times athletes are hesitant to talk about political views and how we
because nobody cares about as much as they do Hollywood actors
feel about things. I feel heartbroken about what's happened in the United States. I think that as a country, we need to focus on respecting everybody's rights. And
except for voters who are legitimately here and can prove their citizenship,
making sure that we're treating our citizens as well as anybody with love and respect.
Okay, honestly, just ski, my God. And if you don't want to represent the United States as is, don't try out for the dang team. Honestly, don't try out for the team. This is Jim Gossett on the Ron
These
Carson
two
Show.
Olympic skiers who are running down our land, they give our enemies like China a helping hand. Americans, they're trashing with the words that they choose.
Don't ski for us.
If they keep it up, they are bound to lose. And they're proud to be un-American, like Colin Kaepernick.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Chris Lellis and Hunter Hess, they really make me sick, make me want to throw up when I hear what they had to say.
Yes.
Cause there ain't no doubt that these two despise the USA.
Yeah. Nobody cares what you think about your politics. If you don't love America, don't represent it. There you go. Lindsey Vonn, however, she does. It looks like her career is probably over. Had a pretty severe injury, broke her leg, had to be medevaced out. But here's what Lindsey Vonn says about America.
It brings up mixed emotions to
No, that's not Lindsey
right
Vonn.
now.
It's somebody more feminine. That's Hunter Hess. He's much more feminine than Lindsey Vonn. Here's Lindsey Vonn, actually.
It's a privilege to represent your country, and the Olympics are the largest stage in the world, the largest sporting event in the world. To walk out into the opening ceremonies with your fellow teammates is such an honor, and I always feel incredibly lucky that I'm even able to compete at that level. So I definitely don't take it for granted, and I'm going to enjoy my last Olympics as much as I possibly can.
There you go. Well, yeah. Proud to represent. You can do. There's a million other world championships you can be a part of. Whatever. If you don't want to represent America, because this is a patriotic thing. I was watching the other night. There's a documentary about the 1980 men's hockey team who beat Russia, and I was in middle school when that happened. And way back when, and you had to watch it the next day, right? So the game was over. You didn't know about it because there was no interweb and there was no none of that. So the next day we're watching it, and I remember, I'm a 14-year-old kid, and I wept. And this documentary, it shows the hockey players now in their mid to upper 60s, coming back to Lake Placid where the game was, and I think that pride. I know that pride is still there. The only people who don't have it are Democrats. They don't, and they've spent the last couple decades tearing down America, kneeling during the national anthem, spitting on America. It was all a psyop to take down America as founded, and it's not working. Americans are becoming more and more proud to be Americans. By the way, did you see that last night? And I thought this was quite a contradiction. That everybody says that ICE is Nazis and the Gestapo. Which is absolutely untrue. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. They are law enforcement officials charged with doing a job, and they go out and they're attacked and brutalized frequently. And it's intentional. It's in states like Minnesota, in states like Texas, they're able to do their job unencumbered. Nobody's getting, nobody's trying to run over an ICE agent and get shot in the process. Nobody's attacking ICE agent while carrying. And kicking out the back taillight of an ICE vehicle and whatnot. But last night, I guess, the people who put on the Super Bowl decided to take money from ICE. So I'm thinking they don't think that ICE are a bunch of Gestapo Nazis.
They're friends and neighbors, sons, fathers. They're little league coaches and veterans.
Wow.
They're people who love this country. These are immigration and customs enforcement
Now,
officers.
that is not what Democrats are saying. Here's what Democrats are saying about ICE agents.
Get out!
Yeah. Yeah, just throwing a temper tantrum there, and then of course, for the last couple of years, they've been saying stuff like this.
Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? We're being hyperbolic.
Yeah, you're being hyperbolic.
If you're a black and brown community, it's here.
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
The dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany are the dangers that we need to react.
Wow, that is kind of weird that the NFL would run this ad then.
They are removing violent criminals from our streets.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
It's dangerous and difficult work.
It is, yeah.
But ICE has one mission: to make America a safer place to live.
Nazis.
And that's what they're doing.
Bunch of Nazis.
This is law enforcement.
Gestapo.
This is ICE.
Yeah, there you go. So, I guess the NFL doesn't think that they're Nazis and Gestapo. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
The Democrats shut down and them all leaving town will be a gift to me. I see it as a firing opportunity. Let the layoffs begin. America will win. Just you wait and see. The Democrats just gave me an opportunity. Now I have a chance, along with J.D. Vance, to make us more waste-free. A federal budget cutting opportunity. The budget I'll reduce when thousands are cut loose. Less bureaucracy. I will make this another opportunity. This is a big time opportunity.
I am woman, not a man, despite this new transgender ban. Though my voice is deep and I've got facial hair, they've banned me, but I'll be back. Bravery I do not lack. You don't have to tell me to grow a pair. Oh yes, I'm a girl. Against women I compete. People wanna hurl when I win another meet. Swimming medals, I will steal all of them. I have a beard. I've got testicles. I am woman. Venus says that I can't swim. They claim that I am a him. But I'll be back. Just you wait and see. Oh yes, I'm a she. I even wear a dress, though it's no mystery. The whole package I possess. But they banned me from everything. I have a brawn. I have a prostate gland. I am woman.
free. In libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads. Because inside their heads I live.
Yet Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, is mad that he hasn't been invited to the governor's dinner at the White House with the Nazi. Honestly, you can't have it both ways there, Junior. You're a racist. No, I'm not. He's just a piker. He's doing a terrible job as the governor of Maryland, and so is this new governor in Virginia, Abigail Spamberger. She's a crazy cat lady from hell, to be quite honest. Just put it that way. This is, I'm going to explain something to you, a thing called passive aggressivity is what it is. This is Brandon Johnson, the failed mayor of Chicago. And crime around the country, if you notice, has come down dramatically because Donald Trump is the president. The murder rate's the lowest it's been since 1900 when Joe Biden was in middle school. And it's because that Donald Trump closed the border and they fanned out the FBI across the country to go after the small number of people who are committing these crimes. And 5% of the population is doing most of the crime. And that's why it's happened. But Brandon Johnson, who's an idiot, says that Donald Trump has caused more violence by reducing violence. And I'll explain this in a second.
That has been replicated in other...
Is that Jonathan Goldthwait? Shut up!
Big cities. Is the president right to say that it was his actions in Chicago trying to bringing federal agents to Chicago that...
Yeah, because it worked all across the country at the same time.
Made Chicago safe?
Okay, now here's where he just goes off the rails.
He is not. I mean, this president continues to, exacerbate instability across our country. In fact, where ICE and federal agents were present, we actually saw an increase in violence.
Yeah, it's because, you idiot, you have been fomenting rage, and bought and paid for protesters have been going out and attacking ICE agents. That's the passive-aggressive bullcrap of the Democrat Party.
In other words, the tension and the chaos that federal agents bring to cities.
No tension and chaos in Texas, working beautifully. Louisiana, working beautifully.
In America, it actually is counterproductive. So yes, we saw a 30% reduction in homicides, shootings, shooting victims, all down.
You should thank the president, you fool.
In fact, the city of Chicago.
You haven't done anything.
Double the amount of the national average in terms of violence reduction
and you had nothing to do with it because you're an idiot. He's just a moron. When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, he's a moron. Oh, by the way, gold is above $5,000. I told you when it dropped down and went down to 4,600 from 5,600. I told you people were selling it. When it got up to $5,600, everybody said, okay, I'm going to unload it. I bought it at $2,600. I'm going to make some money. So suddenly gold became available and the price dropped. It's $5,055. It's above $5,000 again. It took a week and a half to go back above $5,000. I would get on the gold train before it reaches $5,600 again. This, according to Bank of America, gold will be the primary hedge and performance driver in 2026. Silver could top out between $135 and $309 this year. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. I trust them. If you've got an underperforming IRA or retirement account, if you've got money in savings, which is a waste of time. It is a waste of time to just have it sitting there in savings. You might as well bury it in the backyard in a soup can or a Tupperware, whatever you cigar box. I don't even know. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold has an A+ rating from the BBB, and they will give you useful information. Then you can pull the trigger. You can get going. But I would recommend it because gold's coming back. It was $4,600 last week. Now it's $5,000 now. Okay, so text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. If you would, and you should. Thank you very much. We just talked about the dummy who is the mayor of Chicago. Dear God, what a joke. This is kind of cool. J.D. Vance, Megyn Kelly put this together. And I told you that, Michelle Obama is a spoiled, entitled brat with a chip on her shoulder, a racial chip on her shoulder. She's never worked a day in her life. She hasn't. I have worked my rear end off my entire life, starting in farm fields, by the way, for over a decade, working farm fields, involuntarily, not paid, by the way. Yeah, I know, it sounds kind of like slavery or something. But here is a J.D. Vance versus the spoiled, entitled Michelle Obama. This is just beautiful.
There are certainly sacrifices that come along with this life.
Our kids are little. We're going to have to move.
There are also a lot of good things.
It's expensive to live in the White House.
What a blessing it is to be here.
There were moments when I didn't feel like I got enough attention.
We live in this beautiful, very protected mansion that the American people have gifted us.
Many people don't know. I mean, much is not covered.
Most of our meals are prepared for us. So we don't have to worry as much about cooking.
You're paying for every food.
I did that for my family for 25 years.
Every bit of food that you eat.
There are a lot of things that in some ways make having a baby easier.
How do you raise kids in the White House? It's dangerous.
You don't have to worry about TSA lines when you're the vice president. Air Force 2 makes transportation pretty easy.
We had to pay for their travel to be on the plane.
My attitude towards kids,
they're a hassle.
What the hell have we gotten ourselves into? No more kids.
They mess you up.
Then we had a second, then we had a third, and now both of us are just like, what's one more?
Whatever.
That's the difference between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party right now, in a nutshell. Spoiled, entitled children throwing a temper tantrum about everything, and people who are truly grateful and believe in God, among other things, and count their blessings. Count their blessings. That is a microcosm of the Democrat Party today versus the MAGA movement. I'll say the MAGA movement, not all Republicans, because there are a lot of jerks who are Republicans. But the MAGA movement is ultimately optimistic, positive, sane, faithful, and amazing. There you go. Yeah, 100%. That's why the Democrats hate him so much. All right, so coming up, the great Doug Burns. We're going to be talking about Abigail Spamberger trying to tax us without representation in Virginia. Also, an appeals court smacks down a Biden judge's block on Trump DEI orders. On the other side of the break, this is the Rob Carson Show.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
They're gonna find election fraud down in Fulton County. Looking at 2020, when the steal took place. After it is proven, Bonnie Willis will look stupid. Brian Kemp and Ratzenberg will not show their face. That water main break, yes, it was a total fake. Suitcases with ballots everywhere. Kemp was so weak he went and turned the other cheek. About the fraud he didn't seem to care. Democrats aren't known for playing fair.
What you talking about, Willis?
They're gonna find election fraud down in Fulton County. With the actions he's taken, Jacob Bright is making Minneapolis a clown town. Ice fries a bows, and while Tim Walz is dozing, city has become a clown town. Ilhan Omar's hiding fraud, Keith Ellison's obstructing a war on law enforcement. Jacob Price conducting. Temp on Tim is so incompetent. Most Minnesotans want no more of him. It's a clown town, Minneapolis, clown town. It's far from fabulous, clown town. Once great cities become clown town, clown town.
Gimme.
Bill, good morning. The complaint from Virginia Republicans is new Governor Abigail Spanberger campaigned like a moderate but is governing from the far left. Spanberger is backing a plan from Democrats to redraw the congressional map, seeking to hold 10 out of Virginia's 11 congressional seats, while the current split is 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans.
Yeah, you know, that is called taxation without representation. At least that's what I kind of think it is. I don't think I'm off base there. Here to see if I am is Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. How are you, my friend?
Good, Rob. How are you?
Excellent. I know you're a big Bad Bunny fan, Doug. Did you enjoy the show last night?
Well, I'll tell something funny really quick.
What?
And that is that we had a couple of members from the younger generation
yes.
At my place to watch the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't very well say, I'm not watching this.
Yeah. You old curmudgeon is what you are. Yeah.
So I sat there and just kept my mouth shut.
That's probably a good idea rather than getting to an argument with people who are less informed and much younger than both of us. All right, so let's talk a little bit about and you know my take on this Abigail Spanberger running as a moderate and then unveiling a platform that the Democrat Party in Virginia did not run on, which should be illegal. Well, there has to be something done about this, Doug. This cannot stand. You cannot run as a moderate and then be a communist. The communists can't lie about their platform.
Well, the old school term is bait and switch. In other words, I'm going to run on all these moderate positions, and then you get in and you're way, way, way farther to the left. But as I told you recently, the remedy is to kick her out at the ballot box or recall her. But at the same time, you're not off base in saying that it is some type of fraud, because it really is.
It is absolutely fraud, and I mentioned taxation without representation. Think about this. We send people to Congress from our states that are supposed to represent the number of people in our states according to party. And right now they want to make the Democrat Party 10-1 advantage. So exclusively Democrat, eliminating half of the voters in Maryland. I do believe, didn't we have a war about this at one point? Didn't it do something like, I don't know, create the country?
Of course. I mean, the point is, the whole thing is really, really troubling, the whole redistricting thing. They want to have congressional districts that look like, lizards and alligators and so forth. And it's really embarrassing, and they just will strain to the breaking point to create districts that will, create more Democratic seats and so forth. But again, it circles right back to your original point, which is that, if she ran on some type of moderate platform, and frankly, and I'm not dissing her, so to speak, I didn't follow her platform. I'm here in New York and so forth. But the point is, she's going way out of her way, and we see it all over the place. Gavin Newsom, other places.
I want to play something for you and get your reaction because you live in New York City. So sure. I'm going to set you up here.
Now living among mountains of trash. 11 days after the Manhattan snowstorm, the streets remain buried under piles of garbage, and the city government has done little to fix it. Many residents say the city is slowly turning into an open-air landfill. Filthy black snow, garbage soup flooding the sidewalks, ice rinks on every corner, cars buried like fossils, people slipping, breaking ankles, no one shoveling, no one salting, no one doing anything. This is New York City, 3 minutes from the mayor's house.
Wow.
Under Mayor Mamdani, the city that never sleeps is becoming the city that never sweeps.
I kind of like that line, actually, Doug. Isn't this the warmth of collectivism, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, and you'll find this interesting, actually, because it's slightly counterintuitive. Where I came out on Mamdani, of course I didn't vote for him, is that it wasn't even ideology, socialism, forget that. My starting point as a 34-year-old with no executive experience whatsoever is one of the last people that you want to run the most complicated city on the planet, okay? So this guy has no skills, zero, to run this place. And it's amazing because I actually went away to the West Coast to see my son, was gone a week, and I came back, and working right off what you just played, the situation in terms of the street and the snow and the ice was just as bad as when I left.
Well, I live in Alexandria, Virginia, and we got the same snow and everything. And in places like Baltimore and around here, the city will fine you for not shoveling your sidewalk, even though it's frozen ice, right? But the parking spaces on the side of most of the roads have not been cleared. So if you want to park to go into someplace, you literally have to park in a lane of traffic, and they're going to fine me for my sidewalk.
No, that's crazy. It's crazy, but again, back to Mamdani, how people voted for him. Again, completely taking out the socialism, the ideology, just on experience level. 34 years old with no management experience, and you're going to elect him mayor of New York City? I just don't understand that. And I had people coming up to me left and right telling me, I think I'm going to support him. I mean, look, we all get the concept of coming in with a couple of one-liners, affordability, or with Obama, hope and change, and everybody just buys into it hook, line, and sinker. But at the same time, they could have taken a moment to reflect and say, this guy's way too young.
Well, it's the problem is that young people voted who are ignorant.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Because right now, here's New York. New York is Lord of the Flies meets Animal Farm. That's a perfect. It is. It's a perfect description, right? It is a perfect. It is Lord of the Flies meets Animal Farm. That's what. And what they did was, you got a busload of kids, okay, a busload of first and second graders, and they get rid of the adult driving and toss the damn keys to the first grader. That's what happened in New York City.
No, you're right.
It's a damn shame. Also, I'm hearing that there are hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people without heat in these supposed rent-controlled apartments that Mandami has. And by the way, also, Kathy Hochul is not going to give him the money that he needs, the taxes that he needs to do all this crap. So how do you think this is going to end for New York City?
Well, I mean, I said all along, a little bit of a crystal ball. I drew an analogy to Joe Biden, seriously, which is that the thing's going to flame out. He's going to be wildly, wildly unsuccessful. Then there'll be a correction, as it were, and we'll get back to a mayor more along the lines of Michael Bloomberg or Rudy Giuliani, and that's the way politics works. So I think, again, I'm a little bit torn. I'm looking right out the window here in Manhattan. I'd like the mayor to be successful, obviously, but I vehemently disagree with everything that he stands for across the board. But I think you'll see just a natural political correction. I think he will be very, very, very unsuccessful, and I think he will be voted out of office.
Well, unfortunately, he can do a lot of damage in the meantime. That's the major problem.
Unfortunately, there's a long period of time. That's the problem.
And the garbage piles. I mean, is what I'm seeing, is it commonplace? Is it happening all over the city right now? The garbage piles, the ice, the ice.
Yep.
Really?
Well, the situation, I mean, again, I just want to be fair, obviously, because I'm in one section of the city, haven't been all around the whole thing. However, I was up by Fifth Avenue, which is fairly far from where I live, and it's the same situation.
Wow.
What surprised me, and I'm not an expert in snow and everything else, but hear me out. What surprised me is the poor condition of the intersections. Just huge ice and snow piled up, very hard to get across intersections, very dangerous and so forth. And it seems to me that there are ways to address it better. I mean, this guy again, the experience level. As my late father said, nobody's born knowing how to do anything, so you build up experience. Look at you in media. I've been doing it for decades, obviously. Me in law, same thing. When I was 25 years old, 29 years old, I didn't know anything about anything in law because I was just starting out. That's what it is with this guy Mandami. He's just starting out. He doesn't know anything. He's completely unqualified to run New York City.
It's like a senior in high school becoming a Supreme Court justice.
Exactly.
All right, let's take a break and come back, Doug. I've got a few other things I want to hit you with on the other side of the break. This is The Rob Carson Show. Rob Carson Show. Joining us on the Newsmax Hotline, Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. Doug Burns Law on Twitter, by the way. So Hillary and Bill, I can't believe they relented and said they're going to go ahead and testify. Hillary, of course, asking for a public hearing because that way, Democrats can fluff her and she can shut down Republicans. What do you think about the Clintons capitulating? Do you think that they thought they're going to go to jail?
They had no choice because what happened was they were playing a very cynical game, and they're cynical and they're very knowledgeable. So what they did is they must have told the lawyer, look, write a letter, say the subpoena is invalid. I explained to you that that's ridiculous. No lawyer can write a letter saying a subpoena is invalid. You have to go to court and move to quash the subpoena. Gotcha. That's the term. And if the court quashes it, then you don't have to comply. And they must have said to Lowell, let's take our chances. If they don't appear to be moving to hold us in contempt of Congress and or referring it to the DOJ, then that's it. End of story. If they are, then get back with us. And then they had absolutely no choice. Now, on the public versus private, this thing is so... It's plain as the nose on people's faces, or whatever the cliche is.
Yes.
A public hearing is a complete and total joke.
Yes.
Everybody makes their 5-minute dopey political speeches. They start shrieking hysterically like Maxine Waters, I'm reclaiming my time, I'm reclaiming my time, and nothing productive takes place. A behind closed doors deposition, Rob, is much more like a real deposition in a real lawsuit where lawyers can really get in their grill and question them hard. That's why Bill Clinton makes this phony argument about, it should be public and transparent. That's all nonsense. He just doesn't want to be subject to a grilling in a true deposition. Now, lastly, sort of reading your mind, what's going to happen? Look, the Clintons can tap dance. They're like Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
And they also can lie.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate to be harsh, but it's warranted. So I don't think much productive is going to come out of it.
I think what really did it was several Democrats went along with it, and I think the Democrats are beginning. They don't hold as much sway as they used to in the party.
Exactly. No, a lot of Democrats have mixed feelings about the Clintons and all of their charades and everything else. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, the Epstein thing, real quick from 30,000 feet, and I've told you this many times, your listeners, careful what you wish for, because Epstein was much more aligned with Democratic political figures than Republicans.
Yes.
Okay? There's no question about that. Now you have the president of Harvard taking a huge hit, Brad Karp, the head of Paul Weiss law firm in New York City, taking a huge hit.
Yep. Keir Starmer,
a member of the royal family,
Keir Starmer,
Randy Andy.
Yeah, Randy Andy.
He's taking a huge hit. And I'm telling you, if they want to keep scouring through these documents, 1 million documents, you're going to see more and more cadaver bags piling up, Rob.
Yep. What do you think about Don Lemon? Is he going to go to jail?
It's interesting because his claim that he was just acting as a journalist is not going to hold up in front of a jury, okay? Because he went to a planning meeting before the event, which is really going to be potent in a courtroom. As far as jail, it's a borderline thing. A judge could, if he gets convicted, a judge could give him a year and a day, 18 months, or he could give him probation. We'll see. We're not there yet, and it depends what jury pool you have and all of that. But again, I'm pleased, actually, that his fake charade about I'm just acting as a journalist that doesn't hold up at all. The guy was blocking, impeding, and then last point, huge point. Can you only imagine if a Trump supporter did that in an abortion clinic, Rob?
Of course. Well, they already went to jail for standing outside and praying, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Unbelievably ridiculous. Finally.
Absolutely. Hypocritical beyond belief. Yeah. And they brought all kinds of cases, dozens of cases, for people who didn't even breach into an abortion clinic, and now they have the audacity to look right in a camera and go, First Amendment? No, you can't interfere with people's free exercise of religion.
Doug, okay, say for instance, Don Lemon went to a planning meeting. Don Lemon bought them donuts and coffee, right?
Yep.
So this would be akin to Don Lemon talking to a group of bank robbers who were going to go into the bank and rob it.
Absolutely.
Okay? And instead of going in and saying, hey, you guys are about to get robbed, participating in the robbery, standing there and impeding people from fleeing the robbery. It's the same damned thing.
That is exactly the summation that the prosecutor is going to give, seriously, which is
I should have been a prosecutor.
One other quick factoid in the indictment towards the end, it says also that he was at the front entrance and he was blocking and impeding people from leaving. Yeah. That's another fact that they're going to emphasize big time in court.
By the way, Donald Trump had a huge win. Appeals court slaps down Biden judge's block on Trump's executive orders aimed at eliminating DEI. That's a pretty big win because DEI was destroying our military. DEI was destroying universities and everything. This is a pretty good deal.
It is, and we've been saying all along that, not to be corny, but it's been great to see appeals courts knocking back these, rogue individual judges' decisions. That's exactly what happened here, so it's all good.
All in all, I think, as I've said on the air, the left exposes its flank so we can kick its butt. And
Exactly.
we have seen this with, now we know, I didn't know the FBI was as corrupt as it was. I didn't know that judges were this corrupt. You're probably a lot closer and obviously closer to it than I am, but I'm glad it's known now, Doug. I'm glad it's known.
Well, judges are human beings, and they can bring biases to the bench, no question about it. But this particular episode, I'm going to call it, in the last year, has been particularly egregious because the point is most judges do try to conscientiously, do the right thing. But here, since they had the White House, the Supreme Court, and Congress, the courts was the last bastion, and a lot of these judges went way over their ski tips.
Absolutely.
But it's good to see, again, broken record point, good to see the appeals courts cutting it back, Rob.
All right, my friend. Great to talk to you. Have a glorious week, Doug. Hopefully spring will be arriving soon in New York City. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, let's talk. Who's watching? Doug's always good, isn't he? Hello, Brian Manning. Worst Super Bowl halftime performance ever. Agreed. Carol, quit watching football when they bent the knee. Yeah, I know what you mean. See, I love my local teams, though. I love my local teams, and I don't know. I'm angry at the NFL. I'm not mad at the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not mad at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm mad at the NFL. It's a sucky, ownership. The people that run the organization are awful. So it's a conundrum. And again, I could have cared less about the Super Bowl last night. Okay, who's watching over here on YouTubage? YouTubers. America Marcy, what's going on? You guys are very busy. Salt won't melt the trash. Yeah, I know. But water melts Democrat women. Deplorable dinosaur, hello. American Marcy says, praise be to God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort. Nice thoughts, brother. Nice thoughts. I've been spending a lot of time when I go work out now. I've been going into the sauna, and I always find it's a wonderful place to pray and to meditate. So I've been doing a lot of praying. I've been doing a lot of praying these days, and trying to stay on top of it. Sometimes I slip a little bit. Sometimes I slip. Sometimes I fail, but I try. Very hard. You dust yourself up, you pick yourself up, you try to become a better person than you were the day before. Sometimes you don't make it. Here we go.
Get him at 340 here.
Come on. By the way, Bon Scott is the correct answer for the best frontman for AC/DC. He just was. He was the best front man. He died 34 years old. Choked on his own vomit. Did you know that? Yeah, he went out drunk and passed out in a car. It was dreadful. And then they sneaked in Brian Johnson. I was in middle school. I didn't even notice the difference. But now I recognize the difference because Bon Scott, his voice is very nuanced. Nothing against Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson picked up the slack and made them a much greater band than you could have ever imagined. But Bon Scott was a better vocalist. I think anyway, we may disagree. So Kelly Loeffler is the Small Business Administration secretary. And she has discovered massive fraud just in California. Listen to the number of Small Business Administration loans in California that she's revoked.
I'm here in San Diego, standing at an address that is registered to 14 businesses that took $2 million in pandemic-era loans. Those loans haven't been paid back, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Today, the SBA is announcing we're suspending 112,000 California borrowers who took...
Did you hear that? 112,000 borrowers.
Tip of the iceberg. Today, the SBA is announcing we're suspending 112,000 California borrowers who took potentially upwards of $9 billion. We're going to continue to work with our federal partners to ensure accountability for COVID-era fraud that the Biden administration tried to sweep under the rug. And just like Minnesota, California is another state whose socialist welfare policies have invited fraud. Well, the buck stops here. We're not looking the other way. We're prosecuting. There's going to be more to come.
Yeah, there are. In the state of Minnesota, this is Minnesota Representative Kristen Robbins talking about Ilhan Omar, who I hope is imprisoned, then sent back to Somalia penniless.
In March of 2020, Representative Ilhan Omar authored a bill called the Meals Act, which eventually was incorporated into a larger COVID package. This law enabled states to waive the normal eligibility requirements for participating in the National School Lunch Program, eliminating income requirements, site inspections, and expanded distribution methods. Minnesota took full advantage of these waivers and enabled site sponsors like Feeding Our Future, Partners in Quality Care, and Gargar Family Services to bill for hundreds of millions of fake meals for fake children. Just one of these groups, Feeding Our Future, became the largest COVID fraud in state and national history, bilking taxpayers of at least $250 million.
Yeah, this is what it was, man. All of that COVID aid, all of that increasing the budget of the United States by 40% was meant for Democrats to enrich themselves and their cronies and get their votes and get their money for their campaigns, etc. That's what it's all about. Left wing. Coming up, a report out of California. A woman named Amy Reichart decided to do what Nick Shirley did and discovered the same thing in California involving the same community. Somalians. I know, crazy. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. You know, hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. Brigitte Gabriel joins us at the bottom of the hour. One of my favorite guests. She's freaking amazing. She's the only person who talks faster than me. And we're going to talk about Iran, among other things, and the hopefully soon fall of the Ayatollah. I'm getting a little impatient, to be quite honest. I want the B word to be knocked out. I want to be knocked out. We're going to talk to her at the bottom of the hour, by the way. So, fraud in California on the way in a moment. Do want to mention hosting a Super Bowl party this year. You know, it's kind of funny. I did a piece on Substack today about why I'm, I don't know, kind of, I haven't left my Chiefs. I haven't left my Ravens. But I'm sick of the NFL. I'm sick of the organization. And I'm for the first time ever, I'm glad the season's over. I'm just tired of it. Tired of Bad Bunny, tired of Green Day, tired of virtue signaling in the end zone. You know, honestly, they're still living in 2020. And I'm just done with it. You know, I don't need to be told to end racism when you score a touchdown. Shut up. I never was a racist. I grew up in a time where we had left racism behind. We were the first generation, my generation, Generation X, to not even care about dating interracially. I have dated many women of color, thank you very much. Didn't think twice about it. You know, Uhura kissed Kirk before we were born. And it was no big deal. We watched Roots. We watched All in the Family. We watched Sanford & Son. We watched Soul Train. We watched American Bandstand. We watched Good Times. We watched The Jeffersons. We didn't think twice about it. George Jefferson wasn't a black man. He was just a man. We watched Different Strokes. Didn't care that the dad had 2 black kids who adopted. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. But the Democrat Party and everybody is trying to take us back to 1968 all over again. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That said, I kind of got a little diverted there. The Super Bowl, you know, Thanksgiving for 10 people. You know what they said that Thanksgiving cost for 10 people? $50.10 last year. Right, sure. How much cost you to feed a crowd of 10 at a Super Bowl party? You ready for this? $140. $140. I spent that, and I had 3 people in my house last night. My apartment. $140 for 10 hungry and thirsty fans. Thirsty, there you go. That's the deal. It's buying all the booze. We didn't have any booze last night. So Wells Fargo estimates the tab is just up 1.6% from last year's 138. That's pretty low inflation there. Wow, a rise that comes in below the latest consumer price index reading for food and home, which puts it about 2.4%. At the same time, average hourly wages have risen almost 4%. to $32 an hour. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. Chicken wings are a standout. Wells Fargo says retail prices for fresh wings are down 2.8% from a year earlier to an average of $3.47 per pound, making this year the year to stock up. There you go. I did St. Louis-style spare ribs last night. They're the part near the pork belly. The baby back is near the spine. The part near the belly, the meat is between the ribs. The baby back is on the ribs. Thought you should know. Tortilla chip prices were down 0.7%. Avocados down 2.4%. Frozen pizza down 0.6%. I haven't had a frozen pizza since I moved here. I do these cauliflower crust, dear God, and I'll put some toppings. But I used to get those Detroit. What are they sell them at Walmart, the Detroit pan pizza. And you know they're evil. They got all sorts of toxins in them and everything. We used to eat those all the time. Don't do that anymore. Shrimp is up 8% at $9.10 per pound and still below beef, which is averaging about $10.08 per pound. I was going to get some corned beef because I wanted to make pastrami in the smoker because corned beef, I don't know if you know this, but pastrami is smoked corned beef. Yeah. That's it, right? It's kind of crazy. California has the highest income tax of any state with top marginal rate of 13.3%. And capital gains that exceed $1 million. Top rate for wage income climbs to 14.6% with that. When you're playing the Super Bowl, you got to pay a ton of taxes just for playing in California. Star quarterback Drake May, I should say, for the Patriots. Sam Darnold from the Seahawks. Winning players get $178,000. Losers get $103,000. So at stake is in winning the Super Bowl is pride, fame, bragging rights, legacy, and additional $75,000. States have jock taxes. California taxes non-resident pro athletes a percentage of their income based on duty days in the state. Apparently, the Patriots and Seahawks were there for 8 days, and here's how it broke down. May, who signed a 4-year deal, $36 million rookie deal, will pay $186,000 to California in taxes if he won the Super Bowl, and he didn't. This reflects his base salary, blah, blah, blah. May, like other Patriot players who earned $58,000 for making the playoffs, $58,000 for winning the division, and $81,000 for winning the conference, he and his Patriot teammates will take home an additional $178,000 for winning the big game. Darnold will pay $249,000 in taxes to California if the Seahawks defeat the Patriots, and he had to pay $250,000 just to play in the state of friggin' California. And what did California do for him? D-word for Richard. I know. What a joke. What a pathetic joke. Speaking of pathetic jokes, Don Lemon. Oh, please let him see some prison time. He was at a human rights campaign event, and now he is comparing himself, even though he helped organize, bought donuts and coffee for the raiders of the church in Minneapolis, blocked people from leaving the church. He is comparing himself. Are you ready for this? You better sit down for this. He's comparing himself with great civil rights leaders of the past.
Can you imagine the state having control of your freedom simply because they don't like that you are doing your job?
It's absolutely not true.
So that was very frightening to me, but in my time when I was there, I thought about all the people who'd come before me.
Okay, he's going to insult the memory of people who really, really worked and sacrificed. Martin Luther King Jr. was jailed. Martin Luther King Jr. got beaten constantly. What about Hank Aaron? You are Junior. You are not close to any of these people.
I thought about all of the people who fought for civil rights, who fought for gay rights, all of the people who were at Stonewall, Marsha P. Clark. I'm like, yes, those are the people, those are the real heroes. God. And so what's happening to me, I have at least in this time that I'm living now, more agency, more resources, more rights, and I would hope, than the people who were fighting for our freedom and our civil rights.
Oh my God. The only thing you have in common with Rosa Parks is you occasionally like to wear women's clothes. This is Jim Gossett on the Rob Carson Show.
Lemon, Donnie Lemon. It's looking like his future's really bleak.
I hope so.
His defense, it is extremely weak. I hope a lengthy sentence they will seek. Don Lemon's in trouble. He is really up a creek. The DOJ is after him. Hard time they're gonna seek. Prosecute. Donnie should be in the pen, or he'll do it again. It's a matter of when for Lemon.
Donnie Lemon.
I hope he appears in court this week.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Sentiment against him's reached a peak.
Yeah, I think we're kind of done with him.
And I hope a harsh sentence, a very hefty sentence, a sentence against Lemon they will see.
Yeah, come on. Nice. That's Jim Gossett, by the way. If you want to help him out, go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. To help him out, he'll send you 2 parodies every single day. He's a genius. He's a genius. By the way, gold dropped dramatically last week, and I got to tell you, I wasn't worried about it. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew exactly why it happened. I was right. Because it went up $500 an ounce in one day. It was like $5,600. A year and a half ago, it was $2,600. People who bought a year and a half ago said, you know, I'm going to cash in, take my $2,000 an ounce. And then all the gold went on the market, and the price went shoo, to $4,600. Well, it's at $5,066 today. That didn't take very long, did it? That didn't take very long. Maybe you should text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold now. Like, get it going. It's not going to happen overnight. You're gonna get some information from them, then you're going to decide what you want to do, and then Birch Gold's going to get on the phone with the person in charge of your mutual fund or whatever, your IRA or your 401k, and then you're going to do a little phone call, and then they're going to make a little deal there, and then they're going to send a check. That takes a couple days, so you might want to get on it right now while gold is just that's $5,065 now. It went up $2 since I cracked the mic, for God's sake. My Lord. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold has an A+ rating for the BBB. Thousands of satisfied customers. I'm one of them. Get her done. Get her down while it's going back up. Text Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
What now for us? Hillary's worry. We had to agree to testify. Comer had us over a barrel. Must say that he's a tenacious guy. If I tell the truth about Epstein, about each and every single teen, I'll go to jail. Hillary too. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What now for us? Now we have no choice but go to D.C. and testify. We have to lie.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're mostly Democrats like B.B. Harris. They cry when they lose from their left-wing views. I wish they'd spare us. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their mind. People that are pro-life, I hate you! Got called out by J.D. Vance. When he had the chance, he really nailed them. They're too dumb to know. Kamala and Joe have really failed them. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds.
99.9 FM in Harford County.
The FBI has apparently just served subpoenas to several officials here in Minneapolis, including members of the office of Governor Tim Walz. We will bring you more information as we get it on those subpoenas. Meantime, the number of protesters out here at the federal building is diminishing every day, it seems, but the war of words between local officials and the Trump administration.
There you go. So that's kind of what's going on in Minnesota. I'm hoping a lot of people go to jail, to be quite honest. I really am. What am I hearing here? Oh, okay. Hold on. I got to calm this down. I apologize. I've got something talking back to me here. Anyway, no, I'm hoping some people go to jail. This is kind of interesting. Minnesota legislative auditor found Tim Walz employees fabricated records to cover up fraud. They did no site inspections that received hundreds of millions of dollars per year. And Tim Walz didn't know when to shut his big fat mouth up. And I hope he goes to jail with Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar. Here is the auditor.
This was definitely the most egregious thing I have seen, maybe in my whole time working at OLA.
Office of the Legislative Auditor released a damning report finding state employees fabricating records to cover up mismanagement of money. Tax money. It's another black eye for this. The
DFL, the Democrat Farmers and Laborers Party in Minnesota, is an organized crime family. That's it. They are. They're an organized crime family that steals elections in perpetuity. Minnesota has voted for Trump 3 times, and they steal the elections in Minnesota.
State Department of Human Services.
27 years with the Office of the Legislative Auditor, a statement like that from Judy Randall means something. After past suspicions, she says her most recent audit proved state workers were fabricating documents to cover up mismanagement of taxpayer money.
So these documents should exist. They didn't. We asked for them. All of a sudden, they now exist. And in at least one case, it was created wholesale and backdated by 2 years to give the impression that it had always.
Every one of those B words need to go to jail. So sickening. I'm just so bloody mad about this. Just stinking mad about $30 billion in taxpayer money put aside for welfare pot became a slush fund for states with lack of oversight, fraud by design. More than $30 billion taxpayer-funded welfare money intended to help America's poorest families has instead been used as a slush fund, diverted into programs ranging from college scholarships to government budget backfills. The Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, also known as TANF, was created nearly 3 decades ago to provide direct financial support and services to struggling families. Today, the program distributes $16.5 billion annually in federal funds, supplemented by $15 billion in state contributions. Federal auditors and analysts say the program's structure, which gives states broad control over spending and limited reporting requirements, has made it difficult to track how billions of dollars are being spent. Hayden Dubois of the Foundation for Government Accountability has described the system's lack of oversight as fraud by design. There was very little, if any, safeguards. He estimates that roughly 1 in 5 TANF dollars, or about $6 billion each year, is misspent fraudulently. Despite the program's size, fewer families now receive direct cash assistance than in previous decades. Federal data shows that about 849,000 families received monthly TANF payments in fiscal year 2025, down from 1.9 million in 2010. They are looting it. Audits conducted in multiple states have uncovered persistent problems with oversight and financial reporting. In Louisiana, auditors found in 2024, state officials failed to verify required work participation hours tied to TANF eligibility. The 13th straight year, auditors flagged the same issue. In Connecticut, auditors reported that the state did not adequately review financial reports for more than 130 subcontractors receiving $53 million in TANF funds, making it difficult to confirm whether the money was spent on approved projects. The biggest scandal involving TANF funds took place in Mississippi. The embezzlement scheme saw at least $77 million of taxpayer money go toward frivolous things instead of helping those in need in America's poorest state. Instead, it was spent on lavish homes in Jackson, cars, paying off nonprofit leaders' speeding tickets, funding a new $5 million volleyball stadium in Mississippi University, among other things. A total of 7 people have pled guilty to state and federal charges there. And then there's California. This is Amy Reichert. She was inspired by Nick Shirley in San Diego.
It's Nick Shirley, our state, guys.
She decided to go to a daycare center, doesn't have any kids.
Look.
It says there's 14 children enrolled here.
You don't care. This is my daycare.
Then where are the children?
That's Nick Shirley.
Don't care.
Where are the children at?
It's not enough, Minnesota. You come here. It's not enough.
Amy Reichert, the chairman of Restore San Diego. Amy, take us back to the beginning of all of this. How did you first learn?
So I started researching state inspection records of these daycares, and a very clear pattern emerged. The state would come in and inspect these places. There would be up to 39 kids enrolled and 0 kids present in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, over and over and over. And that's when I reached out to Nick Shirley and I said, come on out to California. We all know fraud is bad. And what was Gavin Newsom's reaction? He reacted by disabling some of the search fields that we were using on the public record database. Oh yeah, and then his Gavin Newsom press office, which is an X account run with our tax dollars, called me Donald Trump's stooge.
A gigantic portion of our federal tax dollars is fraud. Some are saying 40, maybe 50%. Some are saying now that with tariffs, and if you got rid of all of the fraud, you would not have to have an income tax on your first $500,000 in income, which would mean most of us would never have to pay income tax. But we are paying and subsidizing fraud in every damned bloody state, most of them Democrats. Amy also noticed that it involved a particular ethnic group from the meth lab trailer park of the world.
So I'm in San Diego, and we have the 4th largest population of Somalians living here.
Yeah.
And it was because Obama actually focused on certain areas of the country to do resettlement. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's not my opinion.
Yeah.
And you cannot tell just by looking at these public records if someone is Somalian or not. But I can tell you when Nick and I started knocking on some of these learning centers, yes, the licensees, the owners were Somalian.
Yeah, in California, a lot of Russian mafia involved in the massive swindle of money for end-of-life care for people going into hospice. They've got hospices in strip malls and vacant lots, taking in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. It has to be a wholesale gutting of state and federal government. It has to, and a lot of people need to go to jail. A lot of people need to go to jail. That's it. Let's take a break and come back. The one and only Brigitte Gabriel joins us on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. You know, hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
He's run Minnesota in the ground. Massive fraud Timmy never found. Billions lost. Oh, what a cost. Goodness gracious, Walls is in trouble. He's obstructing ICE every day. He wants illegals to get their way. Out of control. He has no soul. Goodness gracious, Walls is in trouble. Tim is thinking they might impeach him. Should be resigning. For Minnesota, he has done no good. It's sad, so sad. As governor, he's been bad, 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 bad. Many calls for Tim Walz to step down. Minnesota can't afford this clown. Throw him in jail, deny him bail. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. His impeachment is an absolute must. Tim has lost the people's trust. He's gotta go, 'cause we all know, goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble.
Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must deport before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
Think of the freedom from suffering that Buddhism teaches us is only possible if we remove the three poisons of desire, hatred, and ignorance from our daily lives. We need not accept suffering as unchangeable. We need not treat hatred as the natural state. We have the power to set ourselves free. And I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, as for those
funky cold Medina
who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world. Or
unless you're gay, and then we'll throw you off a rooftop. That is Zoran Mandani sending a cold shiver down many spines, and doing what I said when he was elected. I said he is Islamist first. Islamist first. He'll lie about everything else. And that's why, radical imams could love him, even though he embraced the LGBTQ community, because he's going to discard them. He's going to use them. They're useful idiots. Joining us to talk about this and other things, Brigitte Gabriel from actforamerica.org. Hello, Brigitte. How are you on this glorious Monday?
Hello, I'm doing great. Freezing on the East Coast.
So, what do you think about Zohran Mamdani's speech praising Islam as the religion of immigration?
Well, he gave a lecture full of lies. He gave a speech full of lies. First of all, Muhammad did not flee Mecca to Medina. When Muhammad received his revelation from Allah that he's supposed to be the last of the prophets, he received his revelation from the angel Gabriel, he tried to recruit his own people. And he tried for 12 years and failed. Nobody would listen to him. They thought he was nuts. He was only able to recruit his immediate family and friends. So he decided, if I go to Medina, which is the major Jewish commercial hub of Arabia at the time where most of the Jews lived, he figured if I go to them and sell them my religion, if they accept me, that will give me credibility among my own people. And that's when he immigrated to Medina and tried to recruit the Jews. The Jews said to him, no, we like our religion. We don't want to have anything to do. We don't want your religion. You're welcome here as our guest, but we like the religion we have. That's when he turned against them and became a military warrior, and that's when Islam went from being a peaceful religion into a military political ideology cloaked in religion. That's why the Muslims celebrate the beginning of the year based on the year of the Hijrah, the year he immigrated to Medina from Mecca, not based on when he received his revelation from the angel Gabriel. So his speech was nothing but a load of nonsense.
Yeah, well, his campaign speeches were as well. That's why he was elected. He lied about everything. I said that he is Islamist first. And that is very clear to me. He's already breaking all of his campaign promises, and now he's beginning to talk fawningly about his faith. And I think it's only a matter of time before his true intentions are revealed.
His true intentions are already revealed. He, like you said, he lied to the people to get them elected. Now remember, the Islamic organizations were all behind him. Remember Linda Sarsour bragging about all the money she raised for Mamdani? And then when he got elected, she said, okay, now he has to answer to us. So first day after he took office, he removed all protection for Jews. So he is already telling us exactly what he wants to do. We just need to open our eyes and listen. When it comes to the Islamic people who are trying to deceive us, Rob, we have never been faced with a more honest enemy who tells us exactly what they want to do, how they want to do it, what their intentions are, etc., etc., but we refuse to believe them. So here we have a mayor in New York City talking about immigration and invoking his prophet Muhammad, and talking about immigration, and we all need to be open and embrace everybody, and quoting some nonsense from the Quran. This is beyond deception. We are watching an enemy at the helm of America's biggest and most influential city talk about his plan for that city. And what starts with New York is never going to end with New York, because right now the same Islamists that funded him and got him elected are now nationwide. Yeah,
but you're seeing some municipalities in places like Texas where they are saying no to these mega mosques, and they're saying, no, we're not going to give you the zoning to build these. And so the backlash is coming. It's not enough yet, though, right?
No, it's not enough. It took Texas, 20 years before they woke up? It took Texas, the building of Epic City, for Texas to wake up. I began going to Texas and meeting with leaders in Texas, warning them about the rise of the radical Muslim community in Texas. I remember meeting with Ross Perot in 2007, the Ross Perot who ran for president. I met with T-Bone Pickens in 2014. I was sitting in his office. He literally called Austin, Rob, talking to the state legislators, telling them, what about this rise of Sharia law in Texas and Islamists, having their own separate systems, etc.? Brigitte Gabriel is here telling me, about it, Act for America. And they said to him, nah, there's nothing to that. This is nothing. It's not true. The Muslims in Texas are so patriotic, etc. I remember meeting with Norman Brinker in 2010, all the big billionaires of Texas. Nobody wanted to listen. It took until 2025 for people to wake up their eyes, and they only opened their eyes because the Islamists publicized Epic City. If they were not so emboldened as to publicize Epic City in order for them to raise money and sell the properties, most Texans would not have even had a clue. Not because of the brains of Texans that they found out what Epic City was doing. It's because the Islamists advertised that what they were doing that Texas woke up.
What do you think? So the Somali Islamic community in places like Minneapolis, where 89% of them are on welfare, tens of thousands of them have taken part in fraud, taking money, claiming their children have autism and whatnot. What are your thoughts on that brand of Islam?
Well, look, they come from that part of the world. What do you expect? I mean, look at the continent of Africa. They're all a bunch of crooks, corrupt. Every country with all the natural resources in Africa.
Yes.
Look at the state of affair they are
Yes.
in. It doesn't matter what country you pick. These people are not going to change just because we picked them up, from Africa and we dumped them in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Zebras don't change their stripes.
No.
So the only people that they respect in Africa are people that steal, lie, cheat, the corrupt, who become rich. That's how they earn their respect in society.
Yeah.
So these Minnesotans, these Somalis that were deposited in Minnesota, figured out the American system, working with the Democrats, and everybody makes money, and everybody's lining their pockets, and everybody was on the sweet train until all the information that came out. So we should not put up with this lying and deception and the stealing of American tax dollars. People need to wake up, become engaged, become involved, and start putting pressures on your elected officials to do the right thing by the American people, by their constituents. And that's exactly why I tell people, go to actforamerica.org right now.
Yes.
Join us.
Yes.
Sign up to receive our emails and action alerts. We are introducing legislation against fraud, not just in Minnesota, but nationwide. This is happening in many refugee communities that were imported to the United States, not just in Minnesota, but in California, in Ohio, in Michigan, in New York, in different cities across America. We need you by our side. Go to actforamerica.org so when we introduce a legislation in your state, you can take action and you can become a part of the solution.
I love it. Now, could you hold on through the break? Because I would like to talk to you about Ilhan Omar and her husband being involved with a winery. That apparently is a problem with Islam. Okay, and then also I want to talk about Iran and about getting rid of the Ayatollah. So can you hold on?
Sure.
Lovely. Let's take a break and come back more with Brigitte Gabriel on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Harford County.
It is the Rob Carson Show. Brigitte Gabriel, actforamerica.org on the Newsmax Hotline. Always awesome to have on. So, Representative Ilhan Omar's husband, Tim Minette, could be in trouble with Islamic leaders because they owned a wine company. I don't think it's a problem, Brigitte, because they didn't sell any wine.
You mean the pretend out of thin air wine company?
Yes.
That never existed and never produced any wine.
Oh.
What a bunch of crooks.
Oh.
I am telling you, this is exactly why the conservative base is so frustrated.
Yes.
What are we waiting for to drag Ilhan Omar to court and finally charge her with all the corruption? I mean,
Yes.
we have enough on this woman to be able to just take, press charges. But again, I'm so glad all this corruption is coming out.
Yep, me too.
Because people need to see this is not just hearsay or Republicans thinking, oh my gosh, they don't like Ilhan Omar because, she wears a turban on top of her head. It has nothing to do with that. We are talking about corruption at the highest levels of government,
Yes.
and we cannot allow our elected officials to continue operating that way because it will destroy the country.
Brigitte, we've got now a giant portion of our federal budget we now know is completely fraud.
Yep.
They used COVID. They increased the size of the government 40%. I was hearing reports that if we got rid of all of the fraud, and you add the tariffs, that people who make up to $500,000 would not need to be taxed for their income.
Wow.
And I don't doubt that at all.
Amen and amen.
I swear to God.
It's about time we keep American money in America at the hands of the people who work so hard to earn it, not the people like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and all the corrupt who get elected and go to Congress and end up becoming multimillionaires in a few years. And by the way, I'm talking about both Republicans and Democrats.
Yes.
Because how can people go up, whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene or whoever they are, whether the right or the left, how could you get up to Congress and all of a sudden be worth 10, 15, $20 million? And Ilhan Omar, I think she's up now to $35 million. The same thing with AOC. How can these people go? How can AOC go from a bartender 6 years ago to being a multimillionaire right now? This is not right. The American people deserve better, and I hope all this corruption will be a wake-up call, Rob, for Americans to be more engaged, because a lot of Americans sit on the sidelines. They go to work. They work 8 to 12 hours a day. They come home. They're exhausted, and they think, I'll pay my taxes on time. I'm barely, putting a roof over my head. I'm just trying to live. And, they vote on election day, but we need to do more than just voting on election day. We need people engaged. We need people holding their elected officials accountable to the decisions that they make, good or bad, so we can take back our government.
Well, I would be more than happy to give my taxes to buy jail cells for all of these pieces of crap. So let's talk about Iran real quick. I want Donald Trump to pull the trigger. I want surgical strikes. I want the Ayatollah taken out. It's not happening quick enough for me. We've got 30+ thousand kids murdered by the Ayatollah. What are your thoughts? When is this going to happen?
It is going to happen, and I believe it's going to happen soon. Remember, Wednesday is their deadline, February 11th, which is the same day after tomorrow. He is meeting with Netanyahu. Netanyahu pushed back his visit. He was supposed to come a week later. But this is a very urgent meeting they're doing together. And, President Trump, you cross his deadline. You know what he did the first time? He gave the Iranians 60 days. You've got 60 days. Let's talk. Let's come to the table. Let's talk. They didn't listen to him. And what happened on the 61st day? Israel attacked. We did the same thing in Venezuela with Maduro. We negotiated with Maduro while we were taking all the military options, preparing whatever we needed to prepare on the ground. But when Maduro did not listen, when all negotiations and diplomacy were exhausted, that's when we went and got Maduro. I believe the same thing is going to happen with Iran. It's just a matter of time.
Now, the State Department did send out a message to all of its employees to either stay put, lay low, or get the hell out of Iran. So I think something is going to happen. And when it does, Brigitte, we are going to witness a history we've waited most of our lives for. I cannot wait for the day that the Ayatollah falls. I really, really can't, Brigitte. It'll be a glorious day.
You and me both, because as somebody who was born and raised in Lebanon, seeing how Iran funded Hezbollah and Hezbollah destroyed the country, I cannot wait for the day that the Ayatollah will fall and the Iranian people will be able to take their government back, their country back, and all these funnels funneling money to terrorists all across the Middle East will be completely cut off.
Well, and then we can all meet together as a group in the brand new casinos being built in Gaza. 5 years from we will meet there. It'll be glorious, won't it, Brigitte?
Oh, forget Gaza. We'll go to Beirut. It's much more fun.
Exactly. All right. So I'll take your word for it. I have no doubt you know where the fun places are, by the way. Brigitte Gabriel, actforamerica.org. Honestly, sign up, actforamerica.org. God bless you, girl. Great to talk to you. Hopefully the next time we talk, the Ayatollah will be out of power. And I think it's going to happen very soon, too.
Thank you, Rob. Have a great day.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I love Brigitte. She kicks butt. Hi, guys. You guys have been super busy talking. And look at the 74 new comments over on Facebookies. Dale Arsenault. And Robert Lawson, how are you? Nancy Pelosi was such a wino. yeah, totally. She still is. Vicky Stevens, hope you're doing well. I made a smoked chicken fettuccine Alfredo, but I didn't use fettuccine. I used this bucatini, which is a hollow spaghetti. It was so bloody good. Oh, my God. Real cream, real cheese, nothing fake. Oh, it looks like the Super Bowl ad with the eagle riding on the horse's back for Budweiser topped the #1 ad last night, apparently. I saw one that was funny. It had Matt LeBlanc and the Friends cast members, a whole bunch, kind of a litany of pop culture people all, using AI to make them look younger. Ted Danson was in it. I thought that was pretty good, but otherwise I didn't pay much attention. Other than I thought they were kind of lackluster, to be quite honest. Valentina, time to go. See ya. Good to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Rumbly Ruse. Hello, Tom K. Hello, Round the Pony, Pat Carr. Glad to have you here. War Eagle 1965. What's up? What's up? America Marcy. We're having new names join the conversation all the time. They're as the show grows, and it is growing, by the way. It's growing pretty substantially. Pretty quickly. All right, here we go. It's time to talk. Once again. Here we go. Boom. We got a million things to think about right now. A million texts to return. I'm going to tape my TV show today, too. Here we go. Rage Against the Machine. On my regular playlist. And yes, I did listen to the Sinners soundtrack again numerous times this weekend. Love that soundtrack. It's incredible. Okay, real quick, the #1 Super Bowl ad was the Budweiser ad with the baby eagle being raised by the horse and then becoming Pegasus. That's a good one. That's a good one. So I guess they've left the Bud Light has kind of left the Dylan Mulvaney stuff behind, whatever. Other than that, I don't really care. I saw one other commercial. I didn't really pay any attention. I was like, whatever. By the way, there are several years. This is going to be an amazing year. And you know why I'm here. Because I wanted to bring you here. I'm in Washington, D.C. because I wanted to bring you here. Because we went through a hell of a lot the last decade, particularly the last 4 years, while watching Donald Trump trying to put him in jail and take his fortune and kill him. So I'm here, and I want to share this area with you. We're working on a trip to D.C. for people to meet me here, tour the city, see the sights, go to Arlington, witness the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. If you haven't seen it, I used to go there once a month, maybe, sometimes twice, because it's such a profound place. It's such a profound place. And so we're working on that. But one thing we are doing, now this is more for WCBM, our anchor station in Baltimore, affiliate, people who listen to the show there. But if you're in the area, if you're within 100 or 200 miles or whatever, Thursday, June 11th, we are doing a Gettysburg bus tour with me. You're going to get a guided battlefield tour with multiple stops on a luxury bus, buffet-style lunch at the Dobbin House. Seats are limited. I'm going to tell you, the tickets, normally a bus ride from Baltimore to Gettysburg alone would be this much. But it's $130. And you're going to spend a day with me. We'll be leaving a little area in, it's called Pikesville in Baltimore, taking the hour-long drive to Gettysburg, witnessing Gettysburg. My father was one of the passions of his life was learning about the Civil War. And he would regale me with his stories of going to Gettysburg. And I wish that I would have been able to share this experience with him. But when I was out of work and when I lived in Washington, D.C., I would go to Gettysburg, drive up, it was 45 minutes from my house, just to walk the battlefields, just to hear the voices. To go, there's this monument, it's occasionally open, you can climb up top of it and then stand above the battlefield and look down, and you can hear the voices. It's haunting and beautiful and tragic and wow. So go to WCBM.com if you want to go. All right, WCBM.com if you want to go. We're going to have at least one luxury bus. Might have to do 2, 3. Who the heck knows? But bring a friend, bring your spouse, and it's going to be an amazing time. I promise you. I made sure, I said, we got to have somebody who's very well qualified to lead the discussion, to answer questions, to experience this, and it's going to be amazing. WCBM.com. WCBM.com. June 11th. I would do the tickets today because they're going to go. They're going to go very quickly. That's going to do it for the show today. Dang, I had fun. Did you have fun? I had fun. Hell yeah. If you get a chance to, check out the podcast. Go to your usual podcast platforms. Look up Rob Carson Show. It's that easy. In the meantime, God bless you. America's founded. Donald Trump, as he makes America greater than it's ever been. Thank you very much. Until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, don't catch the stupid. I love you guys. See ya.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.